Good morning, all. Today, I am discussing about placement. Next thing in the HRM process. Next step in the HRM process. So, placement. So, all of you know about the placement. So, after training, the employee is placed. After training, the employee is placed in his or her position under the charge of a manager. After a selection process is going, then after training, the employee is placed in his or her position under the charge of a manager. Okay, so employee is placed in or her position under the charge of a manager. So after that, he is positioned and charge of a manager. So yeah, we are after that the HR manager is introduced the employee to who is the manager. So you are the subordinate of this person, this manager. So under control of this manager, you have to work. Then you are following the instructions of this manager. So then the manager is directing the employee. Then the new recruit is allowed to exercise full authority and is held responsible for the results. Okay. So the new recruit is allowed to exercise full authority. Now he is able to exercise full authority and also is held responsible for the results. After that, what is done in the job after charge of the manager and he is positioned in the organization, then he has some authority, full authority, and also he has taken the responsibility of the results which is came from his actions or his activities. So then what are the placement methods? Are there types of placements are there? What is the first one is promotion. So promotion refers to the advancement of an employee to a job with a higher authority and responsibility. So promotion is always refers to the advancement of an employee. That means next step in the job. So with a higher authority and responsibility. So with promotion, the authority is also higher, increased, and also responsibility is also increased according to the authority. It may also carry a better compensation package. After that, it is also carry a better compensation package. It gives a better compensation package. That means salary is also increased. So promotion can also be viewed as a means of filling up vacancies in the organization occurring from time to time. So promotion is always can be viewed as means of filling up vacancies in the organization occurring from time to time. So some of the positions are vacant in the organization, then you have to fill with already the persons are there in the organization. So suppose assistant manager cadre to manager cadre. So that is nothing but a promotion. Okay. So promotion is one of the method for placement. Okay. So in this way, you have to fill the gaps in the organization with the promotion. So then next one is another thing is demotion. So demotion is where an employee is not in a position to perform a given job. He may be demoted or transferred to a position with a lower authority and salary. In other words, demotion is a punishment. So those who are not showing a good performance, so maybe demoted or transferred to a position with a lower authority and salary. Okay. So perform a given job. So after you are giving your placement, then you are expecting something from the employee. Then he satisfies the position which is filled by the management. Then he is satisfied and also he is able to perform well in that position. Then only we are continuing that person in that position. So suppose his performance is not good in that position, then ultimately we are getting a bad result or some problems from that employee, then we are not continuing that person. We are not ready to continuing that person in that position. Suppose we are changing that position to, that means backward, that means lower authority and salary. Okay, demotion. So it is nothing but a punishment. So after that also he is not changing his attitude and he is not working well in that position also, then we are just removing that person from organization, that job. So that is demotion. Then after that, transfer. So transfer is another method for placement. So it is a lateral shift that moves an individual employee from one position to another. So transfer means you have to change the position of the one employee, one position to another position. It may be in the same department or it to a different department or location. So it may be in the same department or a different department or a location. So department to department or location, some different location. So this does not involve any changes in the duties. So there is no change in the duties and responsibility and the skills also. The salary benefits also may remain the same. The salary is also same. Suppose you are the assistant manager in this branch, then you are transferred to some other branch. Then also your position is same, assistant manager. Then you are getting same salary and same benefits and same duties and same responsibility. There is no change at all. That is transfer. Then separation. So separation is another method. So it refers to termination of employment. That is nothing but you have to remove the employee from the job and organization also. In other words, the employee is separated from his job. That is called as termination, is also called as separation. So in case of misconduct or misbehavior, so is there any misconduct or misbehavior where the employee is not in a position to improve his performance despite notice? Okay. So where the employee is not in a position to improve his performance despite notice. Suppose they are not, there is no change in the employee position and performance. There is no improvement in their performance. They are not satisfying their position. They are not fulfilling the requirements of the position. Then his or her employment is terminated, and this is also called dismissal. Okay, so we are terminating the services of the employee. Then that is nothing but called as a dismissal. So this is separation. So then after that, absenteeism. So absenteeism is also comes under this placement. So absenteeism refers to the practice of an employee who does not report to work for any particular reason. Okay. So absenteeism is refers to the practice of an employee who does not report to work for any particular reason. Okay. So suppose without any reason or something, there is a personal problems here, he is unable to report to the manager in a regular manner. So absenteeism affects the productivity adversely. That means without any intimation, he is absent to his duties regularly. So he is not coming to organization regularly. Attendance is very, very bad. Then it reflects on productivity. So it becomes difficult for the departments to cope up with the work pressures. Okay. So it becomes difficult for the departments to cope up with the work pressures. Okay. So it leads to work pressures. Suppose some 10 members are in the department. Suppose 2 or 3 people are regularly absent regularly absent for their works. Then ultimately the 3 workers work is distributed to shared by remaining 7 employees. Already their work is there. They have some work, some allotments. Then they are unable to do work efficiently, and also the product is also degraded. So because there is a lot of pressure on the 3 employees, the 7 employees remaining all are there. So it's regularly going on, then ultimately it leads to decrease of productivity. Okay. So there is no absent without any prior information to the management. So as a measure of control, the employees are not allowed to be absent without prior permission from the management. So there is a strict control on absent. So suppose they put absent, then they must take the permission from the management. After only then they are putting the absent. So you need to take the permission from the management. So in this way, you have to control the absenteeism. then it is useful for the improvement of the productivity. Okay, so that is absenteeism. So then wage and salary administration. Next topic is wage and salary administration. So in this topic, some of the problems are there. So I shared a document in WhatsApp. So after the class, so then you have to, all of you, read it first. Okay. So then you are able to understand what are the different types of methods. So because the problems are there, already solved problems are there. So then in next class also, I'm explaining in briefly. So they are not asking the examinations, but according to your syllabus, uh, uh, in your syllabus copy there is a problems. So but in regular they are not asking the problems in question paper. So suppose this year I don't know actually, so they are asking or not asking. So but you have to prepare. So just you have to read it, then I'm explaining the problems in a simple manner, so don't feel any complexity. Okay, so simple ones, simple problems are there. So first I have to discuss about what is the theory regarding this wage and salary administration. So wage and salary administration is also another important thing in the HRM process. So it is a collection of practices and procedures used for planning and distributing company-wide compensation. Okay, programs for employees. Okay, suppose the collection of practices and procedures used for planning and distributing company-wide compensation programs for employees. So for salary administration, suppose wage administration, we are developing a common policy for common policy for salaries. So you have to develop a company-wide compensation programs. That means for what positions you have to give how much salary. So under performance, how much suppose what performance you are expecting. Suppose they are showing the what suppose the performance you are expecting more than the expectation, then we are giving some rewards and incentives. So what percent you have to give the award and rewards, suppose that means incentive. So then suppose they are up to standard level performance, then I have to decide some of the salary or some of the increments, increment percentage. And after that, suppose they are not, suppose they are less than in the, they're showing lesser performance than standard performance, then how we are giving the salary. So then you have to fix the criteria about all these three conditions. Okay, so increments, how you are giving increments on based on what criteria. So suppose up to this level performance, then you are giving some incentives, some increments. So and up to this one, you are giving this increment. So then you have to mention all in a company policy. That means compensation policy. So you have to design. Okay, then you have to practice it. Okay, so then there is a clarity of the management. Also, there is a clarity for the employees. Suppose you are expecting 20% of the incentive, or sorry, 20% of the increments, and then you have to able to performance that much level performance. There is a predetermined performance levels are there. Then you have to reach that performance level. Then you have to get the 20% increment in your salary. Okay, so this is very useful tool, and also there is a clarity how to decide the salary and how to give the increments and how to give the incentives and how to give the rewards and awards. So all these for all these purposes, this wage and salary administration is very useful too. Okay, then these practices include employee at all levels and are usually handled by the accounting department of a company. Okay, so generally these practices are include employee at all levels and are usually handled by the accounting department of a company. So generally this is done by the accounting department of a company, because they are giving the salaries. That means they are giving money for the salary purpose, they are raising the money. So for that purpose, these are generally handled by the accounting department. So then next definition is wage and salary administration is defined as the process by which wage and salary levels and structures are determined in organizational settings. Okay, so defined as the process by which wage and salary levels and structures are determined in organizational settings. So in organizational setting, while you are setting the organization, then you have to decide the process how you are giving the salary and the structures of the salary at the organizational setting process at the time of organizational setting process. Okay, so then next one. So wages are payments for labor services rendered frequency. So now we are coming into the wage. What is the definition of the wage? So wage are payments for labor services rendered frequency expressed in hourly rates. So generally hourly rates are generally wages are giving on a base of hourly rates. Per hour we are giving this much amount. So while a salary is a similar payment expressed in weekly, monthly or annual rates. So but coming into the salary, it is calculated or given to weekly or monthly or annual rates. Okay, so per annum this one and per monthly. Suppose per annum you have to decide suppose of some 3 lakhs. So and then you have to divide it by 3 lakhs into 12 months. Then you are giving that amount to the employee or labor. So salary is different and wages is different. Wages is purely based on hourly rate, and salary is based on weekly, monthly, and given on weekly, monthly, or annual rates. Okay. So a wage or pay is the remuneration paid for the service of labor in production periodically to an employee or worker. So the wages are given in the form of remuneration for the service of the labor in production periodically to an employer or worker. So periodically to an employer or worker. Suppose per hour we are giving wage to the labor. Suppose the same amount calculated for 1 month, then you are giving in the form of salary to the employer or worker. So that is the difference in between wage and salary. So wages usually refer to the hourly rate or daily rate paid to such groups as production and maintenance employees. Those are blue collar workers. So the labor are treated as blue collar workers. Don't take it as a cheap term. Labor is a very, very good term. So, but some of them it is treated as a cheap one. So don't show it as a don't see it as a cheap one. So it is also a good job. So because everybody is doing hard work and also they are working. So they after they are taking the amount. Okay. So getting the money. So in an official way, on a legal way. So then you have to respect each and every job and position in the organization. So don't take it as a lower one. Okay. So wages usually refers to the hourly rate or daily rate paid to such groups as production and maintenance employees, that is blue collar workers. Okay. So salary normally refers to the weekly or monthly rates paid to clerical, administrative, and professional employees. Those are white collar employees. White collar employees mean they are not always wearing white collar clothes. So in production and labor departments, so in production department, regularly there is a hard work. So there is a lot of sweating. So the lot of sweating is there. So then your collar will be darken. That means with sweating. Okay. So but in white collar jobs, that means administrative and professional curricular staffs, they are working always in the fans and ACs. Then there is no sweating. Then ultimately the collars are not darkened with sweating. So then that is called as white collar job. సో అంటే మనం జనరల్గా అంటూ ఉంటారు కదా కాలర్కి మట్టి అవ్వకుండా చేసే జాబులు అని చెప్పి అంటే దాని అర్థం సో వాళ్ళకి ఫిజికల్ స్ట్రెయిన్ ఎక్కువ ఉండదు సో మెంటల్ స్ట్రెయిన్ ఉంటుంది జస్ట్ వాళ్ళు కూర్చుని పని చేసుకుంటారు అది దాని అర్థం సో కానీ ప్రొడక్షన్ అలా కాదు కదా వాళ్ళు శ్రమ చేయాలి సో రైతులు కానివ్వండి లేబర్ కానివ్వండి వర్క్ చేయాలి సో వాళ్ళకి చెమట పడుతుంది దానివల్ల వాళ్ళ బట్టలు మాసిపోతాయి కాబట్టి వాటిని మనం బ్లూ కాలర్ జాబ్స్ అంటాం సో వైట్ కాలర్ జాబ్ అండ్ బ్లూ కాలర్ జాబ్ అంతేగాని వాళ్ళు ఎప్పుడు వైట్ కాలర్ అంటే వైట్వే వాడతారని కాదు అఫీషియల్గా. ఓకే. So wage and salary administration nature and characteristics. What are the what is the nature and characteristics of the wage and salary administration? So nature is the basic purpose of wage and salary administration is to establish and maintain an equitable wage and salary structure. So the basic purpose of wage and salary administration is to establish and maintain an equitable wage and salary structure. So it is always maintain an equitable wage and salary structure. Okay, the basic purpose is that means you are giving the same salary for the same level of the employees and same level of performance. Then only they are motivated and they are working artfully for the organization. Okay, and also there is a industrial peace. There is no disturbances in between employees. Then ultimately we are getting industrial peace in the organization. So it is concerned with the establishment and maintenance of equitable labor cost structure, that is an optimal balancing of conflicting personal interest, so that the satisfaction of the employees and employers is maximized and conflicts are minimized. So it is concerned with the establishment and maintenance of equitable labor cost structure. Then you have to, with the wage and salary administration process, we are maintaining the equitable labor cost structure. Okay, and an optimal balancing of conflicting personal interest. So then you have to balance the conflicting personal. That means, is there any person is raising any conflict? So why you are giving only this much amount to me? So for that person you are giving that much salary, and I am not getting that much salary because I am also working in from so many years. I am also having the experience. So now you are justifying that person with your policy. So then according to policy, you are not meet the criteria with your performance. Then you have to try to your performance. Then you are also getting that much salary as like as you, as like as other person. So you have to justify, and there is no conflict. Then the employee is also satisfied. Then employers is maximized and conflicts are minimized. Okay, so then conflicts are minimized and satisfaction is maximized with the wage and salary administration. Then the wage and salary administration is concerned with the financial aspects of needs, motivation and rewards. So with the salary and administration, wage and salary administration, there is a financial aspects of needs, motivation and rewards. There is a needs and also motivation and also a rewards. Okay, so and employees should be paid according to the requirements. After that, employees also paid according to the required. Then what is the policy already decided? Then according to that, we are giving the salary and we are giving increments and also the some benefits. So highly skilled jobs are paid more compensation than low skilled jobs. So suppose they are high skilled jobs, then we are paid more, and those low skilled jobs we are paid less. Okay, so to minimize the chances of favoritism, there is no chance of favoritism. We are having a policy. According to the policy, according to the performance, we are giving the salary. Then there is no chance of favoritism. Okay, all are equal. So we are giving the salary according to the organization policy and salary administration policy. Okay. Then what are the characteristics of the wage and salary administration? So payment of wages is in accordance with the terms of contract between the employer and the worker. So according to the contract in between the employer and worker, we are giving the salary. We are deciding the salary. We pay the wages for the labor. So there is no chance to conflict or any problem. Okay, while the payment of the wage. Okay, so because it is already there is an agreement between the employee and worker, employer and worker, then we are following that agreement. According to the agreement, we are giving the wages. Okay, so then there is no issue at all. Then second one, the wages are determined on the basis of time rate system or piece rate system. So generally the salary wages are determined under time rate system. That means hourly wage and piece rate system. Suppose per day you are producing 10 pieces, then per piece you have to per piece we are giving the we are paying the wage on piece rate. That means suppose there the worker is producing manufacturing 10 pieces, per piece we are giving suppose 10 rupees, then 10 into 10 100. Okay, so that is the piece rate system. Suppose he producing 15 pieces, then we are giving 15 into 10 150. So those who are producing more and more pieces, then they are getting more benefit. So but the quality and standard is also important. Suppose the pieces are suppose they are manufacturing or producing 15 pieces, but there is no quality and standard, there is a defect in the manufacturing, then it is uh, so we are not delivered to that piece to the customer. So because there is no quality and there is no standard in that product, so there is no use at all. So that's why they are maintaining standards and quality, then they are showing more productivity, that means they are increasing the productivity, they are producing more number of pieces, then we are giving the, after checking, inspecting the pieces, then we are giving the wage per piece. Okay, so based on the quality and standard, that is very important thing, otherwise there is no use at all. So that is the piece rate system. So then third one, wages change with the change in the time spent by the laborer. So wages also changes how much time they are spending in the organization. Suppose 6 hours, 7 hours, or 10 hours, or 5 hours, or 6 hours. Suppose they are working daily for 10 to 12 hours, then we are giving for 12 hours salary amount. Okay, suppose per hour we are giving 50 rupees, then 12 into 50 rupees. Okay, then wages create utility. So the wages are creating utility also. So how they are creating utility? Suppose you are giving the wage, then they are giving production, they are producing the products, they are doing work for the organization. So then it increases the utility. That means there is a utility, there is a use of the wages. Then some value they are created. So wages may be paid weekly, fortnightly, hourly, or monthly basis. Just according to the requirements, we are decide the wages paid on weekly or fortnightly or hourly or monthly basis. Then wage is the reward paid to the workers for the services rendered by them. So wage is nothing but a reward paid to the workers for the services rendered by them. What the services rendered by them are given to the company or organization, then we are paying reward for that services. Then wages can be paid in cash or in kind. So cash or any check or payment, so there is no issue at all. So wages can be paid in cash or in kind, and all kinds of allowances are included in wages. So all the allowances according to suppose HRA and DA, so you have to add these also. So the government is already decided. So the standard wage of a labor for 1 hour. So then according to that, we are giving that amount to the labor. Then we are adding some allowances, all kinds of allowances to wages also. Then we are giving that wage to the labor. Okay. So after that, wage and salary administration objectives. What are the objectives of wage and salary administration? So to compare or draft company HR policy. So this wage and salary administration is a draft to compare company HR policy. So how the company HR policy, according to that, we have to design the HR policy of the organization according to the wage and salary administration. Then find out the income level and return ratio of similar industries. Then you have to find out the income levels and also return ratio of the similar companies in the industry. That means suppose you are also manufacturing some soap, then you have to compare with your income levels and also ratios, return ratios with your competitor company. So just like benchmarking. So then to understand wage differentiations, then you have to understand wages differentiation between our company to our competitor company. So how they are giving the wages and how we are giving the wages. for the same positions. Suppose for a marketing manager, what salary they are giving. So in our company, what salary we are giving, how much salary we are giving to our marketing manager, then you have to compare and differentiate. So suppose you have to increase, there is a need of increase the salary of the market manager, then you have to increase it. Okay. So then this is very, very useful. Now to examine the competitiveness of entry level employees, and also it is examine to examine the competitiveness of entry level employees. So entry level employees have to examine the competitiveness of entry level employees, those who are working efficient or not working, not efficient. So then you have to identify this one also. Then to establish hiring rates favorable to the community. So then you have to establish a hiring rate. That means how much salary, sorry, how much wages we have to give, piece rate or hourly base. So that is also favorable to the community. Then the community is satisfied with your payments. That is very, very important. So to keep abreast wage and salary rates with production cost. So according to production cost, then the salary rates are maintained. So then according to that wage and salary rates, then you have to estimate the production cost, how it is. Then this wage and wages and salaries also included in the production cost. So that is also another important thing. Then to minimize labor turnover due to pay disparity. So with the use of wage and salary administration, there is no favoritism while paying the salary, sorry, while paying the wages. Then there is no labor turnover due to, that means there is no chance to leave the organization. Okay, there is no labor want to leave the organization, don't want to leave the organization. So then you are giving the good payments for the labor, then there is no chance to go away from the organization. So this is beneficial to both management and also labor. So then to increase employee satisfaction and morale, then after that it increases employee morale and also satisfaction. So then to learn about the trends of perks and benefits in the market. So then you have to learn about the trends in the market and also benefits in the market. So and to resolve existing labor problems concerning compensation. So and also what are the problems related to the compensation? That means salary or wage related issues. Then you have to resolve that problems with this wage and salary administration. Okay, so these are the objectives of wage and salary administration. Okay, so this is about theory related to the wage and salary administration. Okay,